So many homeowners think that the mold on their siding is really just a cosmetic issue, but it can actually cause serious health problems and it can lead to structural damage in the property. So first, we're going to discuss what causes the mold to grow in the first place, and then what sort of problems can happen if you don't address it. Mold obviously grows best in dark and moist areas. Also, the plants and the trees around your house will release sugars that can get on the siding, and if it's already dark or moist, it can feed off of those sugars and it can create more mold growth. So because it grows best in the dark, obviously the north side of the house is typically the most dirty. So there's not too much you can do about that. However, there's a few things you can do about the moisture and the plants around it. So if you keep the plants trimmed really well, they're not going to release as many sugars onto the siding, as well as if you're farther away from trees, obviously that's going to help with reducing the amount of sugars that are on the siding. Also, make sure you don't have any issues with like a leaky faucet or clogged gutters, or if a sprinkler is hitting the siding, it's going to increase the amount of moisture. So all of that can increase the amount of mold that's on your house. So you want to make sure that all those things are taken care of. So putting off cleaning your siding can have serious health effects. So the mold on your house has spores that are airborne, and those can enter the house in a few different ways. One of them is just every time you open a door or a window, they can enter through there. Also, if the mold is near a vent, it can enter through there and then it can get into the heating in the AC unit, and that affects the air quality of your entire home, so you could be breathing it in, and that could cause a lot of respiratory problems. Lastly, there are these things called butt joints in the siding, and the mold can enter through there, and then if they do get into there, they could get into like the insulation and the drywall. And once it's at that point, the air quality inside of your home is going to be affected. So as I mentioned before, if it gets inside your house, it can cause respiratory problems or even like worsening allergy symptoms. And it's worst in either children or elderly or anybody with pre-existing conditions. But really anybody can be affected by this, especially if it's over a long period of time. So the mold on your siding can affect your resale value of your house in many different ways. The most direct way is that it eats away at the siding directly, and then it causes that siding to deteriorate over time. And once this happens, it's more susceptible from damage to the weather. Second, if it does eat away at the insulation and drywall, like I explained earlier, that in and of itself could lead to a significant drop in the resale value. And the final thing is that an experienced home inspector will notice really any mold that's on the house, even if it's not plainly obvious, and that could also affect the resale value. So all this demonstrates is that the mold and the dirt on your siding is not really just an issue of appearance. It actually does affect your health, and it can affect the value of your home.